What is up, fishing world? Trevor Wagner coming back at you again. It's Tackle Tip Tuesday. So this Tuesday, we're going to take a dive into something I have used for a couple years now. It's not a lure. Nah, it's something that helps attach your lure to your line. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about snaps. Now, some people love snaps. Some people hate snaps. I love snaps. And I'm going to show you the three rods or the three techniques that I really use snaps for. I'm going to show you a couple different snaps that I've used. One that I really love, one that's really good for a certain application, and then one that is the most common, but I just don't like it. It's just something I've not had a lot of good luck with per se, and I know it's quality, people use it, but it's just something that I don't like to use all that often, and I'll show you that snap. So let's go into the snaps themselves, then I'll show you what I use on my rods for which techniques as we get going. So the first snap I'm going to show you is one that most everybody is familiar with. As I dropped it on the ground, give me 1 second. They are really tiny. All right, so I got it, found it. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is the snap most everybody is familiar with. This is a little guy. Wow, this camera is not going to focus because it's so tiny. But this snap right here is what most people are familiar with. And with this snap, a little bit better. But not quite. But that's the snap that most everybody's familiar with. Again, you just open it up, slide it on, you tie it on this end right here. This is where you tie on the top, and then you undo the snap right here and hook that onto your lure. Again, this is probably the most common snap that you will see, but it's one that I just really don't like this snap. I like a different snap. Now, when I was first starting to use snaps, that's the one I used, and it worked okay, but it really wasn't one that I was after. So then I started experimenting, trying different ones. I was watching a show, and it had Frank Scalish on it. It's called BTL, Bass Talk Live. And he talked about, he's a former professional fisherman, and he talked about the Norman speed clips. And then I tried the Norman speed clips, absolutely fell in love with them. I use them, the three rods I'm going to show you here in a minute, all have Norman speed clips on them, and they work phenomenal. The reason I really like the Norman speed clips is, one, on this part right here, the top, that is where your line tie goes, that's where you tie your knot. And then underneath of that, it is just like a split ring. So in the split ring is what you attach to your lure. And this allows the bait, when it's tied on, to have a little bit better action with it and a little bit longer than a normal split ring. So I really love the Norman speed clips. Now the other one that I like, and I use it for a specific technique, and that is the SPRO split snap. It's almost very similar to the speed clip in the aspect of, again, you have a big old line tie piece right there that you tie to, and then this, it's not quite a split ring, but it works like a split ring when you put this onto your lure. Now this one I really like because it's a little bit bigger profile size than what you normally have for the Norman speed clips. And what I use this for is the giant walking baits. And I think I have one back here. Like when you're throwing the Super Spook, you notice their eyelet right here is pretty thick. And getting a Norman speed clip around that guy, you're going to bend that O-ring out and you're not going to get it to form back up into the shape. But when you're using these bigger SPRO ones, they go on there. Again, they go on. You just kind of work it in just like you would Get it on there. Come on. I know you can do it. There you go. And then now that's on there, and this has an excellent walking ability, just like you would have for a loop knot without having to tie a loop knot, especially if you're not comfortable with tying a loop knot. Now, some people are very comfortable with a loop knot, and you wouldn't need to do this, and you could just retie. However, I really like this. It works really great because I could tie the knot I love to tie right on here, and I don't have to mess with the loop knot. I just tie it on here, especially when I'm throwing these giant walking baits, especially when I'm targeting those bigger bass, open water bass, and I need something bigger. I will go with that SPRO. Works excellent. Okay, so again, works really good, but I want to talk about the Norman speed clips and the rods that I use them on. So the first one that I love to use it on is my cranking rod. So with the cranking rod, I'm going to just pop this up. I got a SPRO Little John on there. You can see I have my Norman speed clip on there tied directly to the bait. Notice there is no split ring on there. I removed the split rings from all of my crankbaits, and that Norman speed clip takes the role of that split ring, and becomes its own split ring. Now the cool thing with this is, especially in a kayak and I'm fishing, it allows me to change my baits a lot faster instead of having to retie every time. I just tie one of those on, and then as throughout the day, if I need to change my crankbait, I could just change it and we're moving on. Works really, really good for crankbaits. Okay, set this one to the side. All right, the next one is on topwater. And the topwater I'm talking about, as you can see here, is a popper. And again, I have the same thing. Most of your poppers don't come with a split ring. And you just hook that split ring right onto there like you normally would. And you have that Norman speed clip right there. Which again, this acts like a little loop knot, which allows me to walk those poppers. Or if I'm using a smaller walking bait, like the Super Spook Juniors, the Evergreen Shallow Blows, I can use that Norman speed clip, and I could just change it out when I'm out on the water, and it's like a little mini loop knot, and I'm able to walk those baits very, very effectively using that Norman speed clip. Works really, really good. Really happy with them. All right. Now, the next one I'm going to show you is the controversial one that a lot of people don't use clips for these. I do, and I have had great success with jerkbaits. If you were to rank like the best way I fish, where I've caught my most fish, jerkbaits is probably, if it's not number 2, it's definitely number 3 in the technique that I know the most and that I've caught the most fish with. And I actually use a Norman speed clip on my jerkbaits as well. And I know some people do not. They like that line tie going straight to the split ring that's on the jerkbait, and that's what they love. And again, I've said it before, it's all about confidence. If you're confident in doing that and you want to do that, go for it, because that's going to get you more bites. I am confident having that Norman speed clip attached to my jerkbait instead of a split ring. I don't know what it is about it, how it acts in the water, but I trigger more bites with my jerkbait having that Norman speed clip on there than I ever did with just a split ring. So, and I know that due to forward-facing sonar and watching them, how they are reacting to my baits in the water. And it just happens that they react a little better when I have that guy on there. So those are the 3 techniques that I really use a speed clip for. That is my jerkbaits, my crankbaits, whether that be square bill, deep diver, medium diver, it doesn't matter. Any of my crankbaits I use a speed clip on, and then also my topwater, that is a walking bait or a popper, I will have some type of clip on there, whether that be the Norman speed clip Or if I'm doing the bigger walking baits, I'll put that SPRO split snap on there. All right, guys, that is my tip for today's Tackle Tip Tuesday, is snaps. So my question to you is, do you use snaps? Or have you never used snaps? Let me know down in the comments below whether you are on board with snaps or you are against the snaps. And again, I'm good either way because it's all about you and how you fish. I'm just trying to provide you with something a little extra, something that maybe you didn't think about to put into your repertoire as you're out there fishing. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Again, comment below, snaps or no snaps, or if you do snap, what's your favorite snap? I'll have a link down below to the Norman Speed clips, which I absolutely love. And again, they're just something I love. Hopefully somebody out there also loves them and can give them some love. But other than that, guys, like I always say, if you can, get out and fish and catch some bass. All right, guys, until next time, have a great day.